Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Lucid Show. I'm Keenan, aka OVO Giant, and with me I have
Dylan Wandenberg. Let's go. Let's go straight into it. I'm
what?
super excited for this episode.
Yeah, so much to get into.
A lot.
Again, we're going to go through past week. On Thursday, we had the opportunity and the privilege of going to go see the the All Blacks. All Blacks. I just got Springbok on the mind. All Blacks sign-in session with their fans. Let's be honest, Dylan and I were really just there to engage with the All Black fans.
Yeah. We had some good interviews.
Yeah.
Show them, pop it up here.
Yes.
We had some great interviews. And I must say, for the All Blacks fans, I think it was really good.
Yeah, you guys were
as
really
fans.
Yeah, the engagement was good. It was very respectful. We had a lot of good banter. The honesty that we got from the All Black fans when we did the player comparisons.
So if you didn't check it out, you can look here.
Yeah,
All the videos that we
it was
made.
really, really cool. Also, from my perspective, I am done with the debate or the arguments or feeling some type of way about South Africans supporting the All Blacks. I think it's down to everyone has their own reasons. We should respect whoever people want to support.
It's up to them.
It's up to them. It's you choose
There's
a
no point
side.
fighting it.
Yeah, there's no point. And
the Springboks will show you anyway.
exactly. But I got to that conclusion because of honestly how good the banter and the conversations were with the All Black fans. There was this one guy that I don't know if you saw the guy that did the haka. He did the haka in front
but
of
we
the
left
All
by
Blacks.
then. We left.
Yes. So he saw me, and I think he might have recognized me from TikTok or whatever, and
he pointed with his wife.
Yes, he pointed to his wife, and he pointed to me, and then he went to his wife like this. Hy praat baie. Then he came into the comments on one of our videos and he was like, "Why did you guys interview me?" So I was like, "You didn't look too happy to see us, but next time we will definitely interview you."
We'll probably see you at the Springbok vs All Black game.
Definitely.
But yeah, the videos did quite well. People are following us and interacting on the videos, and that's what we like as fans.
Yeah.
Give your thoughts, give your comments. We want to hear. We want to see the engagement on the posts.
I was just about to say, like from day one, our whole objective was to engage with the fans, and I'm genuinely really happy with what we did last week. Dylan had to drag me to the event, but I'm genuinely happy he did. It was really cool.
I only felt sorry for them when I saw the 3 players that the All Blacks sent.
Yeah, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can. Like, in all honesty, when we saw the 3 players, I mean, Fabian Holland, the other 2 guys, but I mean, they screamed for them, and then they realized like, oh well, these are the only players that are here.
That's it.
Because the poster did say, meet the All Blacks, so they only sent 3 of their players. But we were saying in the car on our way home, we were like, they should have just, even they sent those 3 players, like send like someone that's like
a name,
a
big name,
a big name for the All Blacks, like a Damon McKenzie or Jordie Barrett or someone like that.
The thing for me was those guys that you just mentioned now weren't in the squad to play the Stormers. Those guys are in effect off for 2 weeks.
It's funny because the players that were there all played on Friday.
Yeah, so that didn't make sense to me. I mean, I would have still understood if you were like, no, we didn't bring in Patrick Tuipulotu or Caleb Clark or those sort of guys because they're playing on Friday and this was on Thursday. But we also said it was a 2-hour meet and greet.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have taken
guys,
a
there were
lot
hundreds of people there, so
yeah, there was people from early.
I just feel like the All Blacks could have just made everybody's day by sending someone that's
a big name.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Stormers game, let's get into that. You want to go first?
I'll go first. I'll say I'm very, very, very impressed with the Stormers. I must say they look like they actually wanted to win the game. And they look like they put their bodies on the line.
100%.
I think we came short only because of the injuries, because everybody was giving like more than 100%. Imad Khan, hope he has a speedy recovery. Don't like to see him injured.
You could see from his reaction after getting injured how much.
And could you see the video? Like no one touched him.
Yeah, it's one of those freak accidents.
Twisted his leg or his ankle, but his knee is injured, I think.
Yeah.
And then, like to see him cry while the game was still on, like obviously it meant a lot for him to play. And I think he would have done really well.
He would have, definitely.
And then Deval Duvenage also got injured.
Broke his arm.
So then I was like, yo, what now? And at that stage, I think it was 14 all.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
think it
Up
was
till the
14.
65th minute,
Yes,
yeah.
and like look how long we kept him in the game, you know. And then he went off, and I saw Natle scrum off, Zas scrum off. It just you could see we tried, and that's what I can give them credit on. They definitely did try.
Yeah.
Like the scoreboard doesn't show the tries that they scored after this was
It
like
was because had players out of position. We
yes.
lost our
The
structure
one was a charge down from Damani. Damani was on the wing.
for sure. Yeah.
And then he kicked like I mean you can't even blame him for that. There were 4 players coming for him. There's nothing else he could do.
Yeah. It's a
Um,
17-point loss against a very good All Black side.
they
Is there
didn't play that well, but I mean,
Yeah, definitely. They played their All Black game, or at least they tried to play
yeah,
their All Black game. Couple of things for me. Ashiva Diamani, brilliant performance. I
absolute
know he
unit.
got that charge down, but I mean, Mans tried to play the All Black game against the All
Mm.
Blacks. He did really well, got over the gain line. Yakin Ahmed, I know he's one of our star boys, but he looked a bit leggy to me.
Yeah, it was a bit quiet. He didn't get like, but I think it was also the service that he was getting, like the balls that he was getting that
Yes,
fast past
true.
him, and then
Soft passes.
yes,
It wasn't like direct
and then
crisp.
when he wanted, you could see he wanted to do something, like
Yeah.
the chip and chase that he did.
Yes.
But I think even his passes that he gave, it wasn't the best at like his standard, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But he was always under pressure, and there was no one to like help him. Like, you know, for example, you speak about Vusi Moyo in the Springbok team, how good he looked. It's because like
He
the
had
Peter
runners
Steph the
off him.
Toit and them were looking after him. They were made sure no one was pressuring him.
Yeah.
There was no pressure on Vusi Moyo.
True.
So I feel like if Yakin had that, he would have had a bit of a better game. But I mean, like for his first outing, very good to see Wahambag as well supporting him.
Yes, that
It was a
brilliant.
vibe. Everybody's saying that we should keep this going. Like, if it's not Wahambag, another school every week, you know, supporting in the stadium. It adds an atmosphere in that, you know, that
And it gets
that
like the
fierce.
next generation into it, the kids to be inspired by that whole spectacle. I mean, just shout out to the people of the DHL Stadium, the organizers, everyone. It was a true spectacle. You could see from the intro, the lighting and
the laser show,
all of that. It
Very,
added
very,
a
very
different
nice.
dimension to the
And it's good. It
occasion.
reminds me like when they play in Twickenham or in France and like how those stadiums, you know,
Yeah.
they make it dark and then it's a whole show that
It
happens.
adds to the excitement, the
Yes.
anticipation of the game.
I definitely think it's perfect timing though for the greatest rivalry when we did it.
Yeah.
So I hope we keep doing this, not just for the greatest rivalry, but like for all games.
Yeah, I think it's going to. I mean, Loftus also got a face upgrade. They also got that whole lighting, LED lighting thing. It really adds to the occasion. From a technical perspective, the All Blacks, right? Or actually, before that, I want to raise something. Can we please stop calling sides, professional sides, whether it be the unions or the international sides, B and C teams? I find that extremely disrespectful to these players that are representing the country or the unions. And I'm talking about both sides. I saw a lot of people saying this is a Stormers C team. A lot of people saying this is a All Black C team. No, guys, anyone that puts on that jersey with the amount of sacrifices and the amount they put into representing their respective teams, it is super disrespectful to refer to them as a C side. I know we're all trying to make excuses for our teams,
I'm one of
why
them.
the performance.
I call it the big team. I call it the yeah.
It's
I definitely get where you're coming
disrespectful.
from.
It's like these guys sacrifice so much. They put so much effort into their craft. It is, and then they finally get the opportunity to represent their team and to be. And I'm sure these guys watch social media.
Yeah.
Like to be referred to as a C team, that's not cool. There's none of us that are typing in the comment section that could even make it into the C team or that team.
And I mean, like we had what 4 or 5 Springboks in the Stormers team.
Yeah.
It was Dian Freddy, Evan Roos, Mchuno. There was a few more.
Similani also, he's been a Springbok before. But guys, let's stop that. From a technical perspective, the All Blacks obviously tried to play an expansive game. They tried to play a fast game. Do you think it's all smoke and mirrors, or do you think that is actually how they're going to play against the All Blacks? Because you must give the Stormers credit. The All Blacks tried to play that, but our defense was just brilliant, and they tried to run out of their 22. The quick lineouts, they got a few away with the quick lineouts. That's something the Springboks have to watch out for. But they try to execute their normal running game, but I don't think they fully got it right, except for the mistakes.
Yeah,
They capitalize off of our mistakes.
I think that's what they're good at. Like,
Yeah.
if you make a mistake, so we can't afford to make mistakes against them, because you
True.
can see what they did against the Stormers. Like, even though we were player down or scrum off down, whatever it was, if we make a mistake, they capitalize and they score.
Yeah.
So I think both of those tries, like, they scored at the end of, like, because of our mistakes.
Yeah. More so than them actually
Yeah.
doing really
So
well.
big credit and shout out to the Stormers. They really put in a big shift.
Massive.
Mm.
Righto. Springbok time. Let's go. There's a lot to unpack here.
You go first.
Okay. So obviously everyone was waiting for my reaction to this because the day before I absolutely I grilled the All Blacks. But I will admit this wasn't our best performance
Not at all.
as the Springboks. Couple of things. You can call it excuses, it probably is excuses. But there's a lot of guys coming back from injury, a lot of guys coming back from long layoffs, and you could see it. You could see the rust in the few players that came back. But then also players like Sasha, his kicks in the first half, his touches in the first half, it wasn't that normal, crisp, like precise gameplay that he normally does. Second half, better weighted kicks, deeper when he needed to, shallower when he needed to. He again has this element of wanting to do everything himself, but again, that's one of the things that makes Sasha great. He takes control of the game. The one thing that I picked up from Argentina's side, and remember we said that Argentina is going to be a very difficult test in Argentina. So all credit to them. They played their hearts out. They gave us a good go. But the one thing I picked up is that Argentina kicked really well and kicked really deep. And that caused us to almost play with two fullbacks.
Yeah.
It caused us to play with Sasha and Apalele Fassi in fullback position. Now that is going to cause problems for us because then we have one less defender in the first line of defense. And then also it allows us to, or it causes us to have less players on attack should we get turnover ball, because that means that Sasha and Apalele Fassi.
And someone like Sasha, you don't want at the back. You want him to be in the line of attack.
In case there's a turnover, in case there's a knock on, and all of those sort of things. Because with our rush defense, I think knock ons are there for us to get the opposition to knock the ball on in contact. And I think that is something that's going to worry us, or that we need to fix somehow. Again, it puts us under pressure because if we have those two at the back, that gives the opposition a chance to play in front a bit more with more players. But I don't know how we fix that. That's a difficult one.
It is difficult, but I mean, when I was watching the game, like, we were very lucky to be 10 or at halftime.
Yeah.
Like when we were watching, I even told her, like, I was like, nah, don't worry, 60th minute, they're gonna be gassed Argentina now, but they actually weren't. Like, they kept going.
Kept on going.
Even though we did score in the 60th minute, I was like, okay, no, we kind of safe now. But then it wasn't until the last minute they almost scored in the last minute again. Even though we wouldn't have lost, it would have been either a win or a draw. It was very good. Like, Argentina started that game hot. Like, they came for us, and you could see, like, even in their tackles and stuff, they were smashing us. The defense was very good. So shout out to Argentina, like, they came to win that game.
But that's going to happen now, right? Going forward, any team that plays against us is going to give it their best.
And, like, for example, like, besides this game, I saw Australia and Japan. Like, it was very close as well, 35, 32 or something like that. I can't remember.
The gap between the nations are closing.
Yeah,
it
so
really is closing.
And remember, it's World Cup next year. Everybody wants to try. I saw Rashi in the thing as well. It's World Cup next year. Everybody's preparing for that. So like, he wasn't even thinking of the greatest rivalry. He was thinking of this game because this is the next game.
Yeah.
And I think that's how we should take it.
12-run winning streak.
Yeah, we got the W at least.
12-game winning streak.
I was very nervous.
I have another question for you. Do you believe, this is the chatter that's going on social media, do you believe that Rassie didn't want to show his hand for this game?
Yes and no. I do believe him when he says that, like, Argentina was the game that he was focused on. But at the same time, like you say now, he didn't want to show all his cards at once.
Because people were saying the reason why they were saying that is because there was a huge amount of kicks from
Mm.
our side,
Mm.
which I don't know if that is completely outside of the realm of how we
Yeah, yeah,
normally
yeah.
play.
Every time we're
But
attacking, we have 2 phases and then it's a kick again.
yeah,
So it's I
it's
don't know.
difficult to say.
Yeah, but it's also good that he did do that, because if it is our game plan now, New Zealand's going to prepare for that, and then maybe it's not our game plan,
Yeah,
and they're already behind, you know.
Tony Ball
Mm.
again. I heard the comments. I saw the comments. Did you leave Tony Brown in South Africa? What's going on?
Yeah,
Another question for you. Standout performers.
Cameron Hanekom, what a
Definitely.
beast! You could see he was literally. I don't like to say it, but he was like one of the only players who actually looked like they wanted to be there.
And who
Um,
gave it their all.
yeah, no, Cameron Hanekom.
Sia also, when
Yes.
Sia was on,
Mm.
Sia made gain line success. He ran strongly with the ball from a defensive perspective. He put in a lot of hard tackles.
Even on
And
attack, he was looking good.
yes,
Yeah.
Sia, I've realized, is the spark to the Springbok team. He's maybe not the most talkative guy in the team, the guy that says the most, but he is that spark from a defensive and attacking perspective.
And I think
So,
another person, Caden Moody, good on defense as well.
I disagree with you
You
there.
don't think he had a good game?
No. So there was the first try to Argentina. He tried to hold up the Argentinian.
I saw that, yeah, and then they
got the offload.
Yes.
Also in attack, he didn't get that dominance, you know what I mean? And he looked unsure, and that's the issue I've been having with Kainan. Like that certainty and that confidence and that composure that you get from Jesse Creel. And Jesse Creel almost went through a similar dip at the time where he was just too frantic, too all over the show. And I kind of got that same thing from Kainan, unfortunately. And he's one of the players that I wanted to do well. Another guy that did well for me was obviously my guy, Cobus Visa. I don't know how you feel on the Itzebeth versus Cobus Visa debate.
Itzebeth played a good 80. Like he tried.
He knocked the ball on though, like 5 meters away.
But did you see the tackle?
Yeah.
No arms tackle. Should have been. Everybody was saying should have been a penalty try. I think it's a bit too far.
Just a penalty.
Yeah, penalty. Yellow card. Don't know. They were saying should have been more. I don't know. But I mean, you guys can debate in the comments.
Yeah.
At least we got the W. That's all that matters.
Definitely.
Focus on to the next game.
Again, accountability from the Lucid show. Apalele Fassi. Brilliant performance, my guy. Well done.
I wouldn't say brilliant, but I wouldn't like much better than it. Like that's the Fassi that we should expect. Anything more would be like wow. You know.
I got a wow. That guy.
You got a wow because of his previous performances.
But the performance in that actual game was brilliant. He got the ball in his 22, kicked it into the Argentinian 50-meter again, and he was under pressure. Then Argentina was about to get a 50-22. He managed to keep the ball in. He bounced players also.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like that's what we expect from Fassi. So when he isn't performing week in, week out, now he performs and we're like, wow. No, it's not wow, it's standard. That's how he should perform.
But if he performs like that going forward, would you be happy with him being our fullback?
No.
Because that's consistently well like that.
No, Willemse, fullback.
Oh yes, you are right. No, you are right.
Like Willemse is
on the bench. On the bench.
No.
Not above Quinton.
No. I love Quinton. Like, sorry, Fassi. Like, yeah, no.
Okay.
Like,
fair enough.
Because what's going to happen is you'll have a quiet game. Now next week you'll play again. Quiet. Following week, pop.
But that's what I'm saying. If he was consistent, would it change your mind?
Yes, consistent, yes, definitely change my mind. But otherwise, I don't know why Quinton he's been consistent. Like why he doesn't like Fassi had 3 chances now, and luckily on the 3rd chance he played well. But I mean, why couldn't after the 1st or 2nd or even put Quinton in the fullback now?
Yeah.
But I think maybe it actually boosts his confidence. Maybe like Fassi will give another chance, you know? I don't know. Whatever.
Let's see how it goes. Anything else on this game?
No.
So, unfortunately, we don't know the extent of Siya Kolisi's injury. But the news coming out of the Springbok camp is that Deon Fourie has been called up.
39 years old. Actually, 39 years young.
There is a bit of a debate going on social media about, this is a guy that's on his way out, basically retired from international rugby. and it's taking away opportunity from a young player to get this exposure. So in terms of long-term planning or big picture thinking, it's a bit of a
Rubbish.
let's
Absolute
say why.
rubbish. Garbage.
Let's say why.
New Zealand is not going to be easy. Everybody knows. He's played in the World Cup final against New Zealand. He captained at the end of the game, and he put in a massive shift against New Zealand again on Friday. Where are you going to take a youngster, throw him in the deep end, besides Paul de Villiers? I back Paul de Villiers. I'm talking about another youngster instead of Deon Fourie. Like, who would it have been?
I don't think we really have the options if you think about it, except for Marco van Staden.
Exactly. And the thing is, he covers hooker as well.
Yeah.
And we're only taking 2 hookers.
Yeah.
So if anything must happen, Deon Fourie is there to cover that and cover flank, and he's a poacher, and he's a tackler, and he runs great to the ball. You saw how he played against New Zealand players on Friday.
Yeah.
This whole talk about the youngsters, I get it. But I think after the World Cup, that's when we focus on the youngsters. We're breeding a few youngsters in now, but Deon Fourie has proven himself. He's proven himself on Friday against the All Blacks. Why not give him another try?
I hear you. Also,
and that's the guy Rassie was messaging.
Yeah. As jy reg Branders, put down the brandy. You need to get into the squad. I'm a bit torn. I hear what you're saying because I am the guy that on the one hand will say squad depth and building for the future is important. That is me on the one hand. But on the other hand, I also believe in picking the best player for the job.
Yes.
So I have been torn with it, but I'm more leaning on the side of Deon Fourie is the guy, the right guy for the job. He's going to rub off his experience on the younger guys within the squad. I'm not just talking about the flankers, but just that role that I spoke about that Siya Kolisi plays in terms of leading by example. That is what Deon Fourie does.
Makes you feel comfortable.
And he gets you.
Bringing in another youngster is not going to do it for us.
It's not going to give us that confidence.
It's not going to be
booster.
confident. No, not at all. Paul de Villiers, definitely I understand. I would say start Paul de Villiers.
He's starting, yeah, 100%.
But someone, you can't bring another youngster in now.
Yes.
And who would that youngster be?
And you're losing the experience of Siya now.
Like, who else can they put in besides Deon Fourie? They must comment here who's better than Deon Fourie.
Let me see if I can go to the squad. Let's do a quick Google. Springbok squad. So, our options are...
And we're talking about someone who's a fetcher. Right?
Paul de Villiers, Ben Jason Dixon, Cameron Hanekom, Siya Kolisi, Elrich Louw, Jasper Wiese. Utility forwards, Pieter Seftotoit, Franco Mostert, Vincent Chichuka, Marco van Staden, young Hendrik Wessels, Kobus Wiese. There really isn't a lot of other options. The only player you can maybe say is Franco Mostert, but he's injured, I believe, at the moment.
Vincent
Chichuka, easier out and out 6, open side flanker.
And why is he on the bench for the Sharks? Did you see?
I think he's nursing an injury as well. But yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Comment down who you think who made replace Deon Fourie.
Where are we going to next? Well done to Deon. That's amazing. Man's turning 40 soon. Currie Cup, so close yet so far for the Stormers. They were leading at halftime.
77th minute they were leading.
Yeah. And then just lost it in the end. Some
Faf
brave. That's what I was about to say now. Brave call from Faf. And again, it's same old. Win 1 week, lose the next week. I mean, yeah.
I do think we should have won this game, honestly. But the 2 yellow cards threw us off. And you could see they scored 2 tries when the first yellow card happened. And then immediately when the other yellow card went on, the other yellow card came off. And it was a penalty try.
Yeah. Discipline, big problem for us.
But also, like, I don't blame, who was it? Kola and Yali. Yeah, he tackled and then the ball hit his hand. And there was no cover defense. So, and he was calling, you can see the clip before, he was calling people to come because you could see the overlap. He then went, tackled, ball hit his hand, penalty try. It was a penalty try, but I mean, then they still scored at the end, 5 scored at the end, so they had another chance. So, the yellow cards are down, discipline, definitely.
I think all in all now, based on this is probably round 3 or 4 of the, no, it's round 4 of the Currie Cup. the results and the log standings are accurate in terms of the form that the teams have showed. The Griquas that are at the top, Cheetahs that are at the top. I think Stormers are around 5-6 at the moment, but I do think there is still something in
And
there.
we got 2
for us
points
to
out
get
of this, so
to the quarterfinals. Yeah.
2 points out of the game, not the worst.
Now, on to tomorrow's action. This is a stacked All Black side. Why
Pretty
would
much-
they choose their best side against the Sharks?
They need game time.
Yeah.
They need game time. And they need to also prove themselves
Hmm.
after that Stormers game. I think leaving it for who they play next, the Lions.
Yes.
Like, it's too late.
But yeah, this is as close to the first team I think that you could get. Except for Cam Roygard, he's on the bench, but again, he probably needs a rest after the season he had for the Hurricanes. But this is a stacked side.
What do you think the score is going to be?
I think they're going to give the Sharks a hiding. There's a lot of youngsters in that Sharks side.
I don't think they can do as well as the Stormers.
Yeah, no. I think this is a 30-point win.
I'm saying 60.
Yes, so that much.
60. This is a very good All Blacks team.
Yeah, let's actually go to
just look at the Sharks team.
Yeah.
They're all praising Ma'a Nonu, but Ma'a Nonu's not going to give you a win.
Exactly.
This is just for, I'm telling you, this is clickbait. They just want people to buy tickets.
Yes. It's just to get this in the headlines.
Look, their backline is good. I'll give that to them. But their forward back, I don't think they can keep up with the All Blacks.
Not
Vincent Koch, probably the only one. The Pepsi Buthelezi, yeah, okay, average.
Manu Chuchuka,
it's not really shouting win.
And then there's a whole lot of youngsters in the squad as well, exciting youngsters.
I want them, obviously I would love for the Sharks to win. It would make everything sweeter, but I want to see Siaya play well. I want to see Donovan Don, that's the sevens player. I didn't even know he's at the Sharks.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was surprised to see him.
Vusi Moyo, good to see him against Ruben Love. It will be nice.
Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, I think it's going to be way too much for the Sharks.
Bench. Vincent Chuka, like I said, on the bench. I don't know why. Maybe it's a tactical sub. We'll see.
There's a Rambo on the bench. That's a good sign for the Sharks.
And then obviously Ma'a Nonu. Let's see if he does well.
Yeah.
I think he's 44 years old. What do you expect from him? What do you expect from him?
That is just for the...
This is clickbait.
It's clickbait. It's full-on clickbait. But guys, thank you so much for all the support. Thank you for the comments, the engagement. We really appreciate it. One of our reels, I think we must celebrate the small
Almost
wins.
on a mil.
Almost on 1 million views.
977.
That is crazy.
So yeah, guys, like we said, we like to interact with the fans. We will be there for the next Springbok vs All Blacks game. We will be interviewing people outside the stadium. So if you see us, come. If you want to be on an interview, we'll interview you. And then we also have exciting, exciting giveaway coming just before the first game as well. We will be telling you more on our socials, so follow and you will see what's happening this week still, probably Wednesday.
Definitely. Thank you so much, guys. Keep on supporting, keep on watching. We out.